Hey guys, injury lawyer Scott DeSalvo here, and it's been a little while since I did a video with you, but I did a consult with a lady who had a car crash last night around 7 o'clock. I talked to her for almost an hour, and the topic of this video is related to that call. The topic of the video basically is, why is it so important for you to talk to a lawyer immediately after a crash, or as soon after a crash as you think you have any sort of injury? And I'm going to tell you why. Let me tell you what happened with this lady. Super nice lady. She called me. I called her right back, and we had a little conversation. She watched a lot of my videos and really appreciated the info, so that's always nice to hear. Because I've got, about 160 informational videos on YouTube now for injured people, so you know what to do if you've been in an accident. But her situation is, she was in a car crash. She was in an Uber, and her Uber and another Uber car, a rideshare car, were involved in a collision with one another. Okay, so she's a nice lady. She's an educated woman, and she just believed that they would be cool with her, right? So she didn't, really. She spoke with a lawyer. She's got some lawyer friends, but none of them really do injury work, so some of them gave her some advice. One of them told her to call an injury lawyer, and of course that's the advice she didn't take. So some of you will know that you have 2 years to file a lawsuit on a personal injury case like a car crash, right? And that's the same for Uber rideshare cases. You've got 2 years to get it done. And she called me 1 week before the deadline. In other words, she was calling me 1 week before the deadline for us to file a lawsuit. And this is the first time she contacted me. The problem is that she did not know the name of either of the two drivers of the Uber vehicles. Now, she had a license plate number, and I have resources where I might have been able to identify one of the drivers, but this is a practical example of why talking to a lawyer and hiring a lawyer as soon as possible as you can after a crash is a really good idea. Because I know that that sounds like self-serving advice, and when I was a young lawyer, or even before I was a lawyer, I would hear lawyers give that advice, and I would think to myself, like, yeah, of course you want people to call after every crash, because that's how you make your money. But this story with this lady explains exactly why it really is true that you should talk to a lawyer. And it also explains why insurance companies and claims companies string the injured person along. They tell you things like, don't worry, we're going to take care of you, send us that bill again, we're switching it to another adjuster, crap like that. And then all they're doing is delaying to get you past that deadline. Because guess what? Once you miss that deadline, the case is over. No money, no recovery. Any doctor bills are your responsibility. Bad news, right? And that's exactly what was happening with this lady. So why was it a bad idea for her to delay? Well, the closer you get to the deadline, it's harder to find a lawyer to represent you. And in order for us to file a lawsuit by the deadline, we have to identify the drivers and the owners of the vehicles and name them in the lawsuit, and each and every one of them. Because if we miss one, and it turns out that one person, like, let's say the crash happened after we take depositions, let's say the crash happened because one of the cars had brake failure. Well, that's negligence in maintaining the vehicle by the owner. But if we didn't sue the owner by the 2-year deadline, we may very well be out of luck. And so if we go in front of a judge or jury and they decide that most of the fault or all of the fault for the crash is due to the faulty brakes, that's the owner's responsibility. Unfortunately, we never sued the owner, and now the case is over, and the injured person gets nothing. So this is the sort of research that lawyers do when you bring their case to them, and we need enough time to do it. Like, I know a lot of lawyers, and my general rule is I need at least 60 days before a filing deadline to review the case, identify the defendants, and do what I need to do. I break my own rules sometimes because I like to help people, and there's actually, I've been doing this for over 20 years now. There's a lot of little tricks I know about how to identify people that I didn't know earlier in my career, and I don't think most lawyers know. So I can get a lot done in a short period of time, but it depends on what's going on in my office. So that's the moral of the story. This lady is a super duper nice lady. She trusted the insurance company and they strung her along. And now they're not calling her back a week before the statute runs. And she painted herself into a corner because it may be that no one will be able to identify all the correct defendants. I mean, she can still file a lawsuit against the people and entities she knows about. Like, she can sue Uber, and she can sue, if she can find somebody to look up that license plate number, she can find out who the owner of at least one of the vehicles is, and she might get lucky. But it's lawyers hear stuff like that and they're not interested in taking the case because the lawyer doesn't want to have professional responsibility for a case that has problems. The other thing is she made some bad decisions about treatment. I don't want to go into any more details because I don't want to identify her or provide any information that might identify her because we're speaking in generalities. But a lot of times clients will call me during the course of their case and ask me, like, well, with regard to my treatment, I feel this certain way and I want to do this. And I'll tell them, like, in my office, you treat and you go to the doctors you want to go to. And if you want to have a surgery, then you have a surgery. If you don't want it, then we build the case around that. Not all lawyers are like that, but at the end of the day, when it comes to treatment, I can tell you the consequences of what a decision is going to be. Like, this doesn't pertain to this lady who called me yesterday, but I've had clients who say, I'm frustrated, I'm not getting any better. Can you call my doctor and ask him to write in the notes that I'm better and I can go back to work and I shouldn't have any more treatment? And, in the context of a work injury case, if a client really wants to do that, I still don't want to do it because here's what almost always happens. If they're still in pain and they're just frustrated and they want to get back to work, they end up going back to work and hurting themselves again. And it's bad for them and they end up with a worse outcome. But see, you have to know these consequences. You have to know that if you settle a case before you're completely healed or at maximum medical improvement, you have to know that the case is over and that it's a really bad idea to do it. And that even though if you don't know that there are other options for you, I do. A good injury attorney will know other options and they can help explain the consequences of your decisions and give you other options. And really, that's the value of a good lawyer who knows what they're doing, but they have to know injury law. So, moral of the story, do not wait until the last minute. I know that a lot of people don't want to make a big deal. They don't want to hire a lawyer. They want to settle the case themselves. They don't want to pay a lawyer fee out of their settlement. I get it. But, Allstate Insurance has actually done studies. You end up with more money in your pocket if you do hire an injury lawyer, on average, even with the attorney's fee being deducted. And you also, in theory, if you have a good injury lawyer, all your boxes get checked. The case gets maximized, your bills get paid. It's a much better situation all the way around. Now, even if you do want to handle the case yourself, and you are 60 or 90 days before the deadline, boy, understand no insurance company waits till 60 or 90 days before the deadline to settle it. They are positioning you to cheat you out of a settlement. They're not doing it to help you. They're doing it to pay you nothing and get away with it. So call a lawyer. And if it's a medical malpractice case, if it's a doctor mistake or a hospital mistake or a nursing home case, those cases are more complicated. You better call the lawyer right away because there is a lot of investigation and work that has to be done on those cases before you can even file a lawsuit. So please don't delay. Lawyers give free consultations. If I can help you, you can call me at 312-500-4500. Free call. It's a 24/7 phone line. They can transfer you to me. Usually what they do is they take down your basic information and then they send it to me by text and email, and then I call you back as soon as I have a free moment. So that's my best advice, or consult with another lawyer of your choice, whatever you want to do. But honest to goodness, whether I get a case out of it or not, you are going to be happy that you consult early. Definitely. Do not delay. So that's it. Have a great day, and thanks for watching.